about preparing our ingredients. The ingredients are just the various different bits and pieces that you put in the food. So the basic ingredients are flour, milk, eggs, butter, and a little bit of salt. That's really it. Something I should say about ingredients: they're almost always talked about as a plural. You can say an ingredient if you're only talking about one, but almost always people talk about the ingredients. So, I'll go through a bit of a recipe here. So you get some flour. Personally, I never measure these things. I just go, oh, about that much. But I've checked in a few different recipes, and it recommends about 150 grams, or 1 cup. A cup is an American way of measuring the amount of things. They have special cups of a particular size. They are unknown in the UK, so we always measure by weight in grams or ounces or stones. So about that much flour, I say about enough to make a little hill out of the flour. Then get some milk. I recommend semi-skimmed milk. That's milk that's not full fat, but not horrible. So 400 millilitres, or 1 and a bit cups. Then an egg or 2. I don't think it matters if you have 1 egg or 2 eggs. They're both very tasty. So I normally use the egg to make an indentation. An indentation is just a little hole in something in the flour. Break the eggs into the flour, because you can't make a pancake without breaking eggs. Pour in the milk, and then you stir it up. And butter is added a little bit later. You melt the butter in the pan. We'll talk about that in a moment. And another important ingredient is a pinch of salt. A pinch of something is exactly what it sounds like. You just take a little bit with your thumb and finger and put it in, because you don't want too much salt, or it will be salty. But a little bit of salt brings out the flavours. If you bring out the flavours of something, it just means you make the flavours that are already there, flour, milk, eggs, taste even better, more like themselves. You can bring out colours in things. Oh, that's a nice dress you're wearing. It really brings out the blue of your eyes, meaning it goes with the blue of your eyes and makes them more noticeable by being with them. So a pinch of salt, about half a teaspoonful, is the right amount, just to bring out the flavours of the pancake. I'll talk a little bit about spoonfuls as well. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, but you don't need any sugar in pancakes. Then you make the batter. So we've already talked a bit about how to do this. Put in the flour, put in the eggs, put in the milk, mix it together. You can either beat it with a wooden spoon. To beat it is just oomph, 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 with all your strength, hitting it all until it all turns into a liquid, or whisk them using an electric whisk if you've got one. Either of those are fine. Then you melt the butter in your frying pan. When I was doing this, I made the butter too hot. Too hot. And there was nearly a kitchen fire. It was very exciting, by which I mean it was very frightening. So melt the butter in the frying pan. That way you get the butter into the mix, because you pour it all out. But you also lubricate the pan. To lubricate it just means it makes it very soft. It means the pancakes won't stick to it. You also lubricate when you're talking about machines. you put oil in to lubricate a machine so when it's fitting together it doesn't get stuck. It runs smoothly. So you put the butter in the batter. Be careful with those words. Make sure you pronounce them differently. Pour the butter into the batter, and it will help keep the pan lubricated later, because you don't want pancakes stuck to your pan. People say you should leave the batter for an hour. You shouldn't cook it immediately. Just leave it in a bowl and wait. I don't. I'm not patient. I like to hurry. I like to eat my pancakes now. So, you can leave it for an hour, but personally I think it's not necessary. So, the first pancake. People say that the first pancake is no good. But I disagree. I think the first pancake can be wonderful and beautiful. Let's find out. But people do say the first one's not good, so that's an excuse if you need to throw away the first one. I had a few mistakes. I had to throw away a few pancakes. It always happens, but never mind. So, wait until the frying pan is hot. You can't do anything with a cold frying pan or a warm frying pan. Wait till it's really hot. Hold your hand over it and feel, ooh, it's getting hot. Put a little bit of batter or even water in and it will sizzle. It'll go psss. Hopefully not too angrily, but when it hits it will sizzle. That's how you know it's the right heat. Now, use something to pour a bit of batter into the pan, maybe a mug or a ladle, which is a great big spoon for soup, and you tilt the pan to make sure it covers the bottom evenly. You don't want it all sitting on one side of the pan. And then you watch it carefully. You think, does it look like it's about to burn? Does it look like it's about to singe? To singe is to burn just a little bit. So watch out for that. You don't want to singe your pancakes. And then you toss the pancake. To toss something is just to throw it so it turns over. You can toss a coin and see does it land on heads or tails, good or bad. So you flip the pancake or toss the pancake. You can use your spatula to do this and flop. But personally I like to throw it in the air and catch it. It's much easier than you might expect. So you just shuffle it about on the pan so you make sure it's not sticking to it, and then whoop! Jerk the pan forwards and upwards suddenly to get the tossing motion. If it hits the ceiling, you've made a mistake. You've been too enthusiastic. But if it doesn't hit the ceiling, that's fine. If it falls on the floor, never mind. We all had fun. We can try again. But if it lands in the pan, you're winning. It's a pancake. Then we're on to toppings and fillings, because you've pretty much cooked the pancake. You cook one side, you cook the other side. What fillings are going to go in there? So, do you want a sweet filling or a savoury one? We've talked a bit about that already, so common sweet toppings, common sweet fillings, lemon and sugar, maple syrup, butter, jam, blueberries. I find if you dice a Mars bar, like you cut it into tiny, tiny, tiny thin bits, and put them on the pancake, just a few of them, and some cream, maybe some squirty cream, and then roll it up. The chocolate melts into the cream. Delicious. Or ice cream melting in hot dark chocolate sauce. I once went to a crêperie, which is a pancake restaurant, and had le crêpe coco. It was hot, dark Belgian chocolate and a scoop of coconut ice cream melting into the pancake. Delicious. Some savoury toppings for you. Mushrooms, cheese, ham, bacon or salami. I always say, if you want a savoury pancake, you should add some ground pepper. Ground just means you grind it, so the black pepper falls out. Because pepper is the savoury sugar. It goes with anything savoury, it makes it seem deliberate, so a bit of cheese, a bit of ham, a bit of ground pepper. That's a good pancake.